Have you ever trusted someone so much that you'd let them blindfold you, hand them your keys, and laugh along while they were sharpening the knife meant for your back? That was me. 2 years ago, I was the guy who believed in family pranks, in harmless fun, in the kind of laughter that brought people closer. I never thought the people I loved would turn a joke into a betrayal that would wreck me. I'm Mark, 34. I lived, or used to live, in a small town in Missouri. I married Rachel when I was 28. She wasn't just my wife. She was my anchor, my best friend. Or so I believed. Her sisters, Hannah and Grace, were the life of every family gathering. Mischievous, loud, always planning harmless pranks, and I played along. I was the brother-in-law who could take a joke, until the joke was on me. It was supposed to be a weekend getaway. Rachel said it was a bonding trip. Just me, her, and her sisters. A road trip to the Ozarks. Some nature, some laughter. A break from work stress. What I didn't know was that they had another plan. 2 hours into the trip, they blindfolded me. Said it was a surprise. I trusted them. Why wouldn't I? When the blindfold came off, I was standing in a dusty gas station parking lot, middle of nowhere, Kansas. No wallet, no phone, no keys, just my sneakers, a hoodie, and a sick, sinking feeling in my gut. Their car was already a speck on the horizon. I thought it was a joke. Any second, they'd turn around, cameras rolling, all laughter and gotcha. But they didn't. They left me there. 300 miles from home. The sun was high, beating down on cracked asphalt. The air tasted like gasoline and dust. Every passing car felt like an opportunity, and everyone ignored me. The horizon stretched out like a cruel joke, and I was the punchline. At first I laughed, nervously, told myself this was their idea of a grand finale prank. Maybe they were filming a TikTok challenge. Maybe they'd come back. But an hour passed, then 2, then 4. Reality hit like a freight train. This wasn't a prank. This was abandonment. I spent hours sitting on the curb, humiliated. I wasn't a man anymore. I was a discarded prop in their sick show, a character they could script, edit, and mock. I asked strangers for a phone. Some ignored me. Some looked at me like I was a junkie. One man offered me a quarter and walked away. When I finally convinced a gas station clerk to let me use the store's landline, I called Rachel. She didn't pick up. I called again and again. On the 5th call, she answered, laughing. "You'll find your way home, Mark. You're a smart guy. Let's see if you can survive a little adventure." Click. That was the moment I realized. This wasn't a prank. It was a test, a humiliation ritual, a content piece. The next 48 hours were a blur of dirt roads, blistered feet, and the suffocating taste of betrayal. I spent the night behind a dumpster, the cold seeping into my bones. Every sound felt threatening. Every passing shadow felt like a reminder. You're alone. I hadn't cried since my mother's funeral. That night, I did. The walk to the nearest town took 7 hours. My legs were dead, my throat dry, my mind spinning in disbelief. A trucker gave me a lift halfway. His silence was kinder than any words. He didn't ask why a grown man was hitchhiking in torn sneakers. When I finally reached home 2 days later, after hitchhiking, borrowing a stranger's phone, and walking miles, the house was full of people. Rachel's family had thrown a survivor party. Banners, balloons, cake. "Congrats, Mark! You made it!" They filmed my entrance, their laughter filling every corner of my home. That's when I noticed the GoPro in the corner. This had been a game to them, content for their family vlog. I felt something inside me break. The man who walked into that house was not the man who had left 2 days earlier. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was hollow. But hollow things. They echo, and echoes can grow into roars. The next weeks were a fog. Rachel didn't see anything wrong. "You're overreacting, babe. It was just a prank. You should feel proud you made it back." But I couldn't sleep, couldn't think straight. My workplace became a war zone. The video had gone semi-viral on a local Facebook group. My colleagues looked at me differently, half amused, half pitying. The whispers were louder than screams. I stopped speaking. I stopped eating. Rachel kept pretending everything was fine. But I knew. I wasn't a husband anymore. I was their latest content project. One night, 3 weeks after the prank, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror. Dark circles under my eyes. My reflection looked like a stranger. That's when I realized I didn't want revenge out of anger. I wanted to restore balance, not loud, not messy, but precise, surgical. If they wanted to play games, I'd play chess. Every humiliation would become a calculated move. I started documenting everything. Screenshots, deleted videos, behind-the-scenes audio clips where they joked about breaking Mark down. It wasn't just a prank. It was psychological warfare, repackaged for entertainment. Rachel and her sisters lived for their online presence. Their family vlog was their shrine. Every prank, every family moment, curated for likes and comments. I was going to give them content. I spent weeks studying their digital habits, what they posted, when, who engaged the most. But more importantly, I studied their weaknesses. Hannah was impulsive. She couldn't resist clapping back at negative comments. Grace was the peacemaker, desperate to maintain their wholesome image. Rachel? Rachel thrived on control. She couldn't handle when narratives slipped from her grip. I started small. Anonymous tips to their sponsors, hinting at off-camera abuse towards family members. I wasn't lying. Emotional abuse counts. Within a week, 2 sponsors paused their collaborations. Next, I crafted a Reddit post. No names. Just a raw story of a man whose wife and her sisters left him stranded as a prank. The internet did what it does best. It blew up. Rachel and her sisters found out 3 days later when a neighbor tagged them in a thread titled, "Social Media Pranksters Cross the Line." Disgusting. They scrambled to do damage control. Hannah argued. Grace apologized. Rachel tried to twist the narrative. They were unraveling exactly as I had planned. But this was just the beginning. Next, I turned the mirror. I compiled every raw, unfiltered moment of their so-called pranks. Times when their victims didn't laugh. Times when people got hurt. I edited it into a brutal montage titled, "When the Laughter Dies, the Dark Side of Family Vloggers." I didn't upload it. That would have been sloppy. Instead, I sent it to a mid-tier YouTube commentary channel known for exposing online toxicity. The video hit 500K views in 24 hours. Rachel and her sisters went into full meltdown mode. Their subscriber count dropped. Brands distanced themselves. Hannah posted a teary Instagram live claiming they were being cyberbullied. Grace begged for forgiveness. Rachel stayed silent. They tried reaching out to me. Rachel came home crying, begging me to help fix their image. I told her the truth. "You didn't prank me, Rachel. You humiliated me for clout. Now it's your turn." But I wasn't done. I had one final move. Rachel's birthday was 2 weeks away. They had planned a live Q&A with fans, a way to rebuild trust. I had access to the stream setup. While Rachel thought I was fixing the lighting, I was syncing my pre-recorded message. When the stream went live, viewers expected cupcakes and heartfelt answers. Instead, they got me. A calm, collected version of me. "Hi, everyone. I'm Mark. You probably know me as the guy who survived a family prank. But today, you'll hear my side. I played the raw footage, the uncut humiliation, the parts they never uploaded. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I just let the truth speak. The comments section exploded. Fans turned. The subscriber count bled. Rachel tried to cut the stream, but the damage was irreversible. The video was already clipped, reposted, and going viral across multiple platforms. That night, I packed my bags, left the house key on the counter. No goodbye, no explanations. Just silence. Rachel's phone calls turned into texts, desperate, pleading. But the final message was just one word. Why? Weeks passed. I rented a small apartment on the outskirts of town. No Wi-Fi, no social media, just silence. But silence, I realized, wasn't empty. It was full of answers. Rachel's family vlog was dead. Their subscriber count had plummeted. Sponsors vanished. Hannah's temper tantrums became memes. Grace's apologies turned into viral TikToks mocking fake influencers. But Rachel, she stayed invisible. One evening, I found a letter slipped under my apartment door. It was from Rachel, handwritten, no filters, no cameras, just raw words. Mark, I know I broke you, but you've shattered me in ways you can't imagine. I don't want your forgiveness. I just needed to tell you, without the audience. You were my compass. I destroyed it. Now, I'm lost. I folded the letter, placed it in the drawer, and walked away. Because some maps don't need a compass anymore. Have you ever trusted someone who destroyed you? If you felt pain like this, you're not alone. Drop your story in the comments. Let it out. Because here at Ultimate Revenge Tales, we don't just tell stories. We echo the screams no one heard. Like, share, subscribe. Justice is just getting started.